back. It's still Business Morning right here on Channels Television. And yes, we're still talking about driving investment into the country. This time we're looking at exports from the country, and the conversation around easing activities at the port has also been on. Now we're looking at it from the experience or perspective of a major player at the ports in Nigeria, and that's APM Terminals. I had to sit down with the regional managing director in Africa and Europe of APM Terminals on how they perceive the work and the policies of the government targeted at easing activities at the ports. We see that APM Terminals recorded 30% increase in its export volume, and that also makes you the highest. You have the record of the highest exports in the country. I must say, the export story from your perspective is good, but would you say that the Nigerian export story is a good one so far?
Well, we have a very long history in Nigeria, and that has been a very good journey. Of course, that journey has not come without challenges, and that's also why we are there. We are there to serve the country, help the country to deal with those challenges. So as you say, it's very encouraging. What we see in the first quarter of this year is the exports are coming up, and that is a sign that things might stabilize, and that indeed we see Nigeria starting to fulfill its promise of not only being a main import but also an exporter hub, but more needs to happen.
So we've had a lot of news items from the government when it comes to export, making ports more export friendly, easing transactions and all of that. But in reality, what changes have you seen, and what changes would you like to see in the exports ecosystem?
I've seen a different conversation about the port ecosystem, and that indeed, as you say, that touches upon digital, but it also touches upon some of the hardcore elements, as I call it. For example, rail is really important. If you look at congestion, so what is important for a port is it's not just build a great port or have a great port, it's how exporters and importers get their cargo in and out of that terminal. So we had a very good and tangible progress on rail, but with your government, we are having discussions on barging, but actually the most important development where we have put in a proposal to the Nigerian Port Authority is a vision of how we can upgrade Apapa port. And that, in our opinion, is really necessary for Nigeria. And why is it necessary?
Would you like to see? I know there's the issue of dredging, human interference, and all of that. Which of them would you think should be prioritized at this stage?
The dredging is a good example, and that is exactly part of our proposal, because if you don't dredge in Apapa, if you don't change basically Apapa Island, you will not be able to receive larger vessels. If you receive larger vessels, then you can reduce what we call the slot cost. And reducing the slot cost means that for exporters and importers, trade will get more advantageous. So, and therefore you need to dredge, because then you can have those larger vessels. So that's indeed a very important part of our conversation. Human interference. I earlier said digital matters. Human interference typically slows down the speed. Typically creates bureaucracy. And in 2025, there are, and that's where we take great pride as APM Terminals, we are a technology-empowered company. So we have solutions to interact with customers. We have solutions that can make life easier for customs processes. There we are looking forward to continue the dialogue and make more progress. Ultimately, it's about the ease of doing business.
I've had conversations with some exporters, and a lot of them have expressed frustration over how long it takes, to process their goods, most especially for agricultural produce, which they say they lose at the end of the day. How should this be handled?
I don't know exactly how bad it is on agriculture specifically, to be really honest. But clearly, if I talk about the ease of doing the business and speed and congestion, this is absolutely critical for agriculture, because you have a lead time that you need to get your cargo out of the country, and it's saddening to see if you can't export your great produce because of congestion, because of the lack of infrastructure. And therefore, again, back to solutions: rail, barging, ICTs. That is part of an ecosystem, and we stimulate that conversation. We look beyond our port. We engage in total solutions. Now, of course, there as APM Terminals, being part of the Maersk Group, we have the capabilities to look at an integrated value chain, and with our mother company also help businesses over that whole value chain.
You earlier said that you're in touch with the government. How would you describe your conversations with the government, when it comes to actually getting things done and making things right at the ports in Nigeria?
We have extremely good conversations with the Nigerian Port Authority. We are very pleased because they are about a vision. They are not about short-term transactional. They are about how we build this together. And clearly, then sometimes those conversations take more time than both parties want, because you want to come to a good product. But yeah, time is ticking, I would say, for Nigeria, and also for us. We have been very explicit about the investment we are ready to make in Nigeria, and we estimate, and it's not just, I want to highlight that, it's not just about the amount, but we are ready to invest an amount of 500 to 600 million in the upgrade of Apapa. But moreover, next to the money we invest, it's about what's the quality of the service. What can Nigeria expect from an operator as APM Terminals, and what can your exporters expect from our service? So that also should go hand in hand with a better productivity. And it's arguably sometimes more important than just plain money. It's important, it's for an investment, but what do you get out of it? And there we take pride in being what we call the best operator with our unique production methodology. I can only say that the engagements which we have at a fairly high level in your country, that the body language and the sincerity, I really feel that. And we have had engagements at a president level from our chairman. We are engaging in the country at a ministerial level. The most important contact for us, of course, is the Nigerian Port Authority, and there is sincerity, and that is not just the body language, but we also know because we are discussing the plan that we have been proposing. As said, you always want that to go faster. And so if there's one plea, and we take that responsibility, is let's accelerate because it's necessary. And infrastructure projects take time. So the moment we have an agreement, we need to start to prepare, we need to start to build, and that will take some years. We need to order equipment. So every day you lose is a day where and I'm a strong believer in Nigeria, is a day that you can't get the cargo in or out of Nigeria.